Have you been concerned about visceral fat? Obviously, you found this video because you did a search for it. Visceral fat is dangerous to people our age. I'm 64. People over 50 years old especially start running great risk with visceral fat. I mean, there's the risk of heart disease. There's the risk of higher cholesterol that leads to heart disease. There's the risk of cancer. There's the risk of stroke, and on it goes. I mean, there are just so many dangers of visceral fat for people over 50. And it's easier to gain weight once we get in our 50s and 60s. And so I want to tell you the story of how I lost right at 20 pounds in just about 30 days. I mean, it didn't take that long. And what happened for me was that I'm in the carpet and floor cleaning business. And the slow season for my business is December to February, just simply because it's cold and rainy and snowy, and people just aren't that motivated to call a professional carpet cleaner that much. And usually I have plenty of work during the slow season, but this particular slow season, the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025, the weather was seemingly just worse than it has been in previous years. And so my work really slowed down. And because of that, I found myself at home a lot more than usual. And for some reason, it's probably because I'm in my 60s, for some reason I just started eating a lot more processed foods. I started eating a lot more cookies and cakes, and I started eating ice cream, even though it was winter. I was gaining weight and I didn't even know it. That's the interesting thing. Visceral fat just sort of sneaks up on you. You don't really see it that much. And I mean, I noticed that my pants and shirts were a little tighter, but I didn't really see it as that big of a weight gain. And then one day my wife came walking in and saw me laying on the sofa, just kind of bumming around, not really doing anything. And she said, "How much longer are you going to lay around the house and just gorge yourself with junk food?" She said, "You're gaining a lot of weight and you're looking like someone who's about to have a heart attack." and I thought that was, that was eye-opening for me. I went and got on the scale, and I noticed that I had indeed gained 20 pounds in just about 2.5 months. And I was surprised because normally I'm pretty health conscious. I mean, for the last 30 years, I've been dedicated to good health. I've enjoyed good health. I've taken really good supplements. I've been good with my exercise. The work that I do keeps me active. So being health conscious was something that was just normal for me. But for some reason, during this miserable winter, I was just bumming around and eating junk food and gaining weight. So I reached out to a friend of mine who introduced me to the supplements that I started taking 20 years ago. And I just asked him if he had any ideas, because he's my age and he's in remarkably good shape. And I just said, "Man, what do you know about visceral fat and how to get rid of it?" And he told me, he said, "Haven't you seen our new program?" I said, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." He said, "Well, we've recently come out with a new program, and it's a 21-day reset program. It basically detoxes your body. It cleans out your colon. It gives you energy and vitality. It helps clear that mental fogginess. And one of the side benefits of it is weight loss." And I said, "Well, that sounds right up my alley," because I was tired and lethargic. I did feel unhealthy and unwell. So I said, "Well, what do I need to do?" And he sent me this program guide that explained the program. And of course I read that and said, that seems too easy. That seems way too easy. I mean, all you have to do is eat a certain way and take a certain regimen of supplements and you'll lose weight. And his response to that was, "Yeah, you really can." I said, "Well, what about exercise, pumping iron and running and taking long walks?" He said, "That's optional." He said, "It'll help, but you'll feel better and lose weight even if you don't exercise one day. It's a 21-day program. Give it a shot." And so I did. I ordered the products, and when they came in, I launched out on day number 1, and I was intending to go all 21 days. And that's exactly what I did. I started taking the regimen of supplements, because this is where the cleansing is going to come in play, and the energy and the mental clearness. That's where that comes from. And then there was a very specific diet, mainly a high-protein, low-carb diet that was very systematic, easy to follow, and I just did it every day. And the first 2 to 3 days were the most difficult, and he told me that the most difficult is going to be the first 2 or 3 days, because you're sending your body into an entirely different world than what you've been in. He said, so you may notice some hunger cravings, you may notice that you might even get a headache or something like that, and you might wonder if this is a good idea. He said, just hang in there for those first 2 or 3 days, and he was right. I did start having some cravings. They weren't intense. I mean, they weren't really bad. They weren't overbearing. When I had a craving, I just drank a glass of water, and that settled it for me. And the hunger, I didn't have any serious issues with hunger. There was a couple of times, nothing major. But, I felt like I could go eat a big plate of spaghetti. But instead, I just drank a glass of water. And I stuck to the program because I figured for 21 days I can do anything. And my visceral fat was really bad. And I knew all of the health-related issues that come from it. So I was dedicated to those 21 days. I did not cheat, not one time. And at the end of 21 days, I had lost 10 pounds of that visceral fat. I went from 184 pounds down to 174 pounds. Now, the perfect body weight for me at my frame, 5'7", is 165 pounds. And that's my goal, to get there. And so what happened is, at the end of the 21 days, and I felt great. I was looking better. My wife even came and said, wow, I can see a big difference. I was amazed at how much difference 10 pounds can make. But I looked a lot different. I felt fantastic. I was sleeping better. My mental focus was better. And my wife was complimenting how well I was looking, and that helped our relationship in a number of ways. And I just decided, okay, if 21 days will get 10 pounds off of me, and my optimal weight is 165 pounds, then I'm going to just keep on going. I'm going to go another 21 days. Now, in the second 21 days, I haven't been as strict with the diet because I'm not in that big of a hurry. I mean, I dropped off 10 pounds. I feel like I'm in a pretty safe range, but I am still pretty focused on the high protein, low carbs. Ever so often, I'll add a few more carbs in there, or, enjoy something that I deprived myself of the first 21 days. But I'm still losing weight. I'm now, at the time of this recording, 169 pounds. And I'm 4 pounds away from that 165. And again, I feel great. Started working out on my old SoloFlex exercise machine. You may remember those being promoted back in the 80s and 90s. And I've had one of those, and it's been collecting dust, and I broke that thing out, and I've been working out for the last week or so, and I can tell I'm starting to get some muscle definition, and things are just getting better for me because I'm dedicated to preserve my health as best I can. So here's the thing. If you are suffering with visceral fat, and I mean, if you've got a big belly and have visceral fat, you are suffering. It's a bad thing. It makes you tired. It lowers your stamina. It affects your relationships in men. It affects your physical life as it relates to your wife and significant others in your life. It's not a good thing. You're literally a heart attack or a stroke looking for a place to happen if you're carrying around 15, 20, 30 pounds of visceral fat right in your midsection. And so you've got to get serious about it. So if you're interested in learning more about what I did, the program that I did, there's some information in the description below this video. And there's an article I've posted there that I put on Medium. You can go read that. It's about a 4-minute read, and it's got some before and after pictures of me and other people who have been on the program. So you can take a look at that. There's a short video that tells more about the program there. Or you can just email me. I've got my email down in the description below. And just shoot me an email and say, hey, I'd like to learn more about it. And I'll send you a copy of the program guide so you can see it without having to purchase the supplements. You can at least see how the program works. And if you want to grab the supplements, then you can send me an email and say, hey, I'd like to get those supplements. Because, you know, the program is not going to be anywhere near as effective without the supplements. You can lose a little weight following just the diet plan, but the benefits of cleansing and detoxing and sleeping better and having more energy and all that won't be there. You're going to need that, because if you go on the program without the supplements, it's going to drain you. Those carbohydrates that you're used to having, carbohydrates are what bring energy to us. And if you just go on a strict protein diet and don't have something to make up for those carbs, you're going to feel pooped and tired and terrible. So if you want to feel as good as I do, I'm 64 years old and I feel better than I have in decades. And I mean that literally. So just shoot me an email or read the information I have in the article. And let me help you. Let me help you get over this visceral fat. Let me help you do all you can to preserve the longevity of your life. Okay. If you purchase some of the supplements, I'll get a little money, okay? That's just this disclosure, full disclosure. But what do you care? You know, you go to Walmart and buy something, they make some money too. So don't worry about that. It's not enough to change my life. But it's something I want you to be aware of. But if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're fat and lethargic and your belly gets in a room 2 minutes before you do, if you're carrying around a lot of visceral fat, look in the description below and let me help you. I feel better than I've ever felt before. I'm doing great. And I'm so thankful to my friend for telling me about the program. And now I'm dedicated to telling as many people as I can. That's why I made this YouTube video. All the best to you. Thank you for watching and have a great one.